She was the unofficial chief of staff to City Councilor Rob Ford, myself as City Councilor, Michael as school trustee, Michael as councilor, Rob as mayor, my dad as MPP, and myself as premier. And she'd always have her advice. She's very pragmatic. Sometimes we get caught in politics looking through, the tunnel vision. She had a wide lens, and she always said, number one thing was never get personal with people. And I thought, boy, politics, Mom, that's hard.
Yeah. What is the best piece of advice she ever gave you?
Best piece of advice is don't take, in politics, don't take anything personal, but don't be, as I said, don't get personal with people. You can talk about policies and things you disagree, but don't go after someone personally, no matter who they are or what they look like or whatever they do. She didn't like when we got into full-out battle in politics. She didn't like it at all.
You've had a few.
Well, I've had a couple, but no, she'd always kind of give me a little tongue lashing privately.
Would she? Is there one moment in particular where she said, "You've done the wrong thing, Doug"?
Oh yeah. Oh, many. Well, she did during the election back in Rob's days, or my mayoral election. I used to say the elites. She could drive her crazy when I said that.
She didn't like that word.
Oh, she didn't like it. She didn't like that because it's personal. You're going after someone, so she didn't want me saying elites. And then
you still did.
Oh no, I try to stay away from that. Well, recently, not knowing the full autism file, and when I came in, and my mom used to play bridge. Well, she played bridge with all the ex-Maple Leaf players, Eddie Shacks and wife, and Bobby Bond's wife, and she told me, she says, "Why are you trying to hurt families with children with autism?" And I had to explain it to her that we aren't. We have to restructure it, and we had to put more money. And this is someone, said, you got to do something. You got to make a rapid change. That wasn't the reason we made the change by any means, but it was just hearing your mother confirming what you knew already, and it really, really bothered her. So, but my mom never affected policy ever, never. It wasn't her job to tell us policy or whatever. It's like a traditional, a mom should tell you what she thought.
Right.
But
you respected what she thought.
Oh, absolutely, I respected it, and she had a lot of common sense items that were just common sense, and so she gave a lot of advice, and she wouldn't be shy privately to, kind of lay into us once in a while, get us on the right track there.
Did she? I mean, this is personal.
Yeah.
Last days and hours with you. Did she have any advice for you on, or parting words of wisdom for you that
she actually said something funny, and it wasn't the last few days because she was all had a bunch of medication, so she was kind of not conscious for the last few weeks. But before, I had an emotional time with her, and she said, "Don't get upset. Get out there and fix the province." And I broke out laughing. I went from being upset to laughing. I said, "Well, you're classic," and she never liked me calling her Ma. Told me I sound like a hillbilly, Ma, Ba, But Randy's so prim and proper. He was mother, so she was nanny with her grandchildren, and mother or mom, or sometimes I say, "Hey, Ma."
What drove your mother? What motivated her?
Her family, her kids, for sure. Her kids. It was all about the family, and in the community. Once she focused on organization, be it Rotary or cancer, or Easter Seals, or anything that they came to her to ask support, she'd never say no. And then once she was in, she was full steam. She was going full steam ahead.
Big loss for your family.
Huge loss, absolutely huge loss. I was thinking the other day, I was at the office, I wanted to go pick up the phone the other day and wanted to call her, and there's no one to call. I'd call my mom a couple times a day to see how she's doing, and since this is like central headquarters, we'd always drop in, and she's going to be missed tremendously.
What's your mother's lasting legacy?
Her generosity and how she opened up her home. And that's one of her tools, I think, and she never said this, but I thought of all this over the last few days. In her mind, one of her tools, where she had a beautiful home, a beautiful backyard, and she'd go to so many events, fundraisers outside, but if she could host a fundraiser and raise money for a great cause, and have the venue to do it at, that's how she would give back. Or everything from school graduations, for myself to all the grandchildren. This was the main hub, you know. And I remember even when we won the championship football over in Scarlet Heights, and that was back then grade 13, and this drinking age was 18, and I'll never forget, you know, all the parties would be held here, but the parents would come, and the coaches, which were teachers, would be bringing beer over. If that happened now, it'd be a big problem. But that was just everyone knew everyone. You know, it was just, that's the way it was. We had an open door. It wouldn't be uncommon that I'd come home and I'd find my friends here, sitting there talking to my mom and dad. They didn't need to call; they just showed up. So, yeah, that would be a real legacy.
Well, we started the interview and you said she was probably the strongest person you've ever known.
Absolutely, she was. Everything that she went through, and all the challenges. And
what do you mean, all the challenges?
well, even, you know, when she lost my dad, that was very lonely. After that, challenges with Rob, watching your kids get attacked, and by no means we're no angels. We're out there. You're in politics, you're ready. It doesn't matter if you're orange, green, blue, or red. You know what you're getting into. But it was very hard for her to see the attacks. But she'd be back out there fighting for us, and that's.
But it must have been hard for her watching him struggle on the world stage.
Yeah, it was.
Grappling with.
But she would be the first out there defending him. And
she would. I remember.
But make no mistake about it. Behind closed doors, he was getting a piece of her mind. That's for sure. And I think she was instrumental in making sure Rob went to go get the support he needed, which he did. And because you sometimes as a mom, you see all sides, and you always want to see the good side. And it's just like, as you say, the mama bear. Any mother would support their kids to the death. And speaking of the death of Rob, it devastated her. And it devastated any parent that would lose their child before they go. And she never got over that, ever. After Rob passed, she'd be up at the gravesite every day, just fixing flowers or whatever in his gravesite. And that really hit her.
He was her baby.
That was her baby, her little baby. She always spoiled Rob growing up because there was a 5-year gap between Rob and I. And so, yeah, she'd always spoil him.